So we went ahead and made the client management online system, basically a not glorified, but a more user-friendly and specific Google Sheets. You can see here we have the sign up page. You can make an account. It also has the option to sign in with Google. And once you sign in, we can you can go ahead and get into it. Here you see so first we'll go to our clients page, but since we don't have an organization set up, you would want to go over to the organizations because one of the important features was to be able to, for a user to be a part of multiple organizations. We would go ahead and create an organization since there's not one existing, just testing it out for the demo purposes. Once we go through and we create it, it's going to redirect us. It takes just a second. And then we can go to invite other users. We can invite both someone as an admin and as a staff. And then um, maximum uses, how many times the code can be used if you're generating codes for 5 people at once, that way you're not having to regenerate each individual one. If we go back now, we can go ahead and look real fast at the view organization. Again, that's inviting the code, viewing the codes that are active. Um, and then if we back out of that, if you go through now to the join organization, you should be a spot to input an invitation code. And now we should be able to go to the account details. This is assuming, the initial admin that set up the organization who's logged in currently. They're able to edit things like their username, name, email, phone number. They also have the ability to sign out. And then, of course, they can go ahead, sign back in or sign up, whichever needs to be done. And then this way now we can join that organization with that code that was provided earlier. And then we can see we're successfully joined. Now we can go through, click to the client page, and we can see a client page. This is basically going to be just, showing the initial list of clients and some initial off-bat information. We do have a sample file just to, populate some 30 something clients for the purposes of demoing instead of us sitting here manually adding 30 of them in. So now that we've imported that, you can see it shows name, email, phone, date of birth, just things you might want to see at a quick glance. And then you can click on the client and it'll pull up a pop-up that is their full-on profile. And you also have the ability to edit the profile. You can add things, if they're in a specific program in your nonprofit, all of that stuff. They don't have to have all these categories, but they can. You can also you can go to the reports page. We do want to change the layout of this a little, but we ran into some pauses. So as of right now, it acts as a secondary list. It shows the clients again. You can search them, and then you can add the new service logs for the service and report history. And then if someone has report history, it'll show those as well as still showing the option to add new service logs in. Um, right now, the program button doesn't do anything. We just left that as a placeholder so that later we could implement the option for the organizations to add the individual programs and then assign them to the clients as needed. We left that the idea of that pretty vague since we want it to be available for multiple nonprofits so that they can configure what those programs are instead of us presetting them. And then that is a lot of what we have. A lot of our code, we did not have as many features as some people. We do have some AI features we plan to implement. We wanted to do a speech to text for importing into the profile, and then as well as a AI generated report summary page for each client. Just we wanted to focus on using AI as little as possible to generate the code itself. We used it more for debugging purposes because we didn't want to have code that we maybe didn't fully understand that could cause vulnerabilities in the security, because to us that was one of the most important features, was if nonprofits are going to have this and storing information, it needs to be fairly secure. We can always go in and add those extra features, but we have the secure foundation instead of building off of an insecure foundation and then having those holes, which I'm gonna pass to Sophie.
Yeah, so one of the most important things to us is security, and that's why we came at this project with a security first mindset. Every single field that you see here has input sanitization, so you're not going to be seeing any injection attacks or anything like that. Our database is completely human generated. Our UI is completely human generated. So even though we don't have as many features as other teams, maybe, all of our code we created, we understand, and We implemented all of the security features. We have the what's it, row selection security. So yeah, security is important to us. And questions? Yes, all of our stuff is encrypted. Actually, we have the was it OAuth, and we use the B-Encrypt for storing the passwords and whatever. So all of our stuff is encrypted. And right now, because it's not deployed, we don't have the SSO. But when it's deployed, we already have the backend ready for that. We just need the live link in order to be able to do that. Right. So for testing purposes, we had the confirmation for the email disabled, but obviously when it's deployed, we're gonna have that option on, and then also multi-factor authentication.
And
Yeah, so we have the just input sanitization. For example, every input is scanned for any characters that are inappropriate, and then it's stripped and sanitized before it's put into the input field. So, there's no commands that can be ran or anything like that.
And just to throw it out there real quick, the only reason this is running on local and not deployed, we actually did have it deployed, but we had issues with getting our team set up because we weren't in the system and it got set up very last minute. So we were running on a GitHub repo that we had actually set up, not the one that was ran through the hackathon. And we had that deployed. And then at the last moment, there was issues with the permissions not updating for us to be able to deploy it, which is why right now you're seeing it on a local dev running, but we did have it running earlier on it deployed. We just need to get this new GitHub deployed with corrected permissions.